Good day to you out there, and this is an enlightenment program today by the Securities and Exchange Commission, the SEC, designed to increase our horizon on the activities of the SEC and for all our benefits. I am Ile Imeche. Regulatory bodies across the globe are government agencies or parastatals that are established with the purpose of performing regulatory tasks for certain sectors of human activity. Regulatory agencies are to provide a safe environment, ensure that people respect the laws established by the government or public organizations. These are independent governmental bodies established by legislative act in order to set standards in a specific field of activity or operations in the private sector of the economy, and then to enforce those standards. And then regulatory agencies function outside direct executive supervision, all things being equal. Regulatory agencies became popular means of promoting fair trade and consumer protection as problems of commerce and trade became more complex, particularly in the 20th century. In Nigeria, the assertion of governmental control in other industries led to the creation of many regulatory agencies, beginning with the Federal Trade Commission, the Federal Communications Commission, and the Securities and Exchange Commission, to mention but a few. Regulatory agencies use a commission system of administration, and their terms of office are fixed and often very long, aimed at promoting and enhancing collaborative relations with other regulatory bodies, advance in technology and other emerging issues. And today on the Enlightenment Program of the SEC, Director, Office of the Director General of the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, Mr. Tunde Kamali, is my guest, and he'll be joining us after the promo to analyze the activities of the Securities and Exchange Commission as a regulatory agency of the government in Nigeria. We'll be right back.
The Nigerian equities market transacts in a turnover of 377 million stocks worth 3.77 billion naira across 9,075 deals. Etana Oil was top on the gainers table with a profit of 10%, followed by Okomu Oil and RT Briscoe, increasing with 9.99% and 9.96%. On the other hand, Transpower PLC led the decliners with a loss of 9.99%, followed by United Capital and UPL, dipping with 8.35% and 5.51%. In volume terms, the Financial Services Index dominated the general activity level with 37 million stocks, while the oil and gas and the services industry contributed in 25 million stocks and 17 million stocks in that order. During the session, OSHI index and market capitalization of listed equities improved by 0.07% to close on a high of 96,037 units and 55.1 trillion naira. And on the exchange rate, the naira sell on the I&E window for 1,590 naira to the dollar, 2,097 naira to the pound sterling, and 1,769 naira to the euro. Ile Imeche, ASO Television News.
So glad to have you join us on this enlightenment program designed by the Securities and Exchange Commission. And as I mentioned earlier, our guest, the Director, Office of the Director General of the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, Mr. Tunde Kamali, is already here, and is here to bring us to the understanding of the progress so far made by the Securities and Exchange Commission to improving the development and growth of the Nigerian economy. Mr. Kamali, you are welcome to the program.
Good morning, and thank you very much, Ms. Ile Imeche.
Yeah.
I hope I'm right.
You're very correct.
Okay.
Okay. Can we start rolling by bringing us to the understanding of what the Securities and Exchange Commission, the SEC, stand for? When we say SEC, what are the responsibilities of SEC
to
the nation's economy?
Thank you very much for that question, and I guess I will start first to create a background for it. in every economy, there's what we call the money market and the capital market. For example, in Nigeria, the money market consists of the banks, which is regulated by the CBN. And that is the market where you get short-term funds, maybe at longest, maybe 2 years, 3 years. But the capital market on the other side is where you get long-term funds, like shares, which could last beyond a lifetime, bonds, which could last beyond a lifetime, and you could also get what we call collective investment funds, units, which could also last a lifetime. So in short, the capital market is that market where you get long-term funds, and it is regulated by the Securities and Exchange Commission. If we go by the law establishing the commission, which is Investment and Securities Act of 2007, the SEC has the responsibility to regulate the market and develop the market. The essence of regulation is to ensure that every investor is protected and that there are no unfair games or deals being played in the market, and to also ensure that systemic risk is put at bay. Then for the development, a market that does not develop becomes less competitive with time. And as time goes on, nobody may be interested to play in the market anymore. So in short, the Securities and Exchange Commission is set up to regulate the market and develop the market. And by the market, I mean the capital market.
All right. When you talk about SEC being responsible for the development of the capital markets and maybe other responsibilities around it, there was this time that we experienced a lot of Ponzi schemes in Nigeria, and thank God it's like it's fading away, and this can be attributed to the regulatory powers of the Securities and Exchange Commission. But that is not to say that we still have some skirmishes. Yes. Like this quick cash and the rest of it. Who regulates them, and what are you doing as SEC?
Okay, to start with, maybe I should also lay a foundation. The word Ponzi today is somebody's name. It was the name of a first man, whoever did that kind of scheme. And what they do is to deceive people into believing that, yes, there's going to be a big return from this investment. But at the end of the day, those investments have no underlying value. What they do is they take from the new people and give to the old people. And nobody regulates them because they're legal funds, they're legal schemes. And what SEC had done all through the time, especially when they started to go in Nigeria, to do public awareness. We also have publications around it. And we believe that the public awareness, the regulations that we have also put in place today, have started to stem them. We also work with the Nigerian Advertisement Regulatory Commission to ensure that such schemes are not allowed to be advertised, or either on radio or TV. Yes, they still use the social media, but the public education we're also giving people is helping. We also have gotten to seal such companies. We have sealed several in Nigeria, and I can bet you that a few of the promoters have also had to have been jailed. So that is also pushing the others back, out of that business. So we believe that a combination of regulation, monitoring activity, and public awareness will continue to help, and especially our youths who more or less want quick cash. They will take school fees and they go and invest.
Wealthy overnight.
Exactly, and then they lose everything. We are focusing on them, and what we do is to go from school to school or invite them to the SEC so we can talk to them and ensure that they gain a better understanding of what not to invest in. So we are glad to say that Ponzi schemes are receded as we speak, and with time we believe they will recede completely.
Okay, how would you, as an officer of the SEC, rate the performance of SEC when it has to do with the regulatory powers in the capital market compared to what operates at the global markets?
Okay, this is how I'm going to put it. If you ask me to assess SEC, I'll give SEC 1,000 over 100.
1,000 over 100?
Naturally, yes. I would also like to put forward the fact that internationally, there's an association called the International Organization of Securities Commissions, which sets the standard for every securities commission on how to regulate.
Yeah.
So it may be difficult to now say that this is doing better than this, because we're all operating with the same standard. The rules must align with the rules you find in the next country.
Right.
And the only difference may be in the area of enforcement. And I will tell you that Nigeria has done something that no other country in the world has done.
For good or bad?
For good, which we call the Investment and Securities Tribunal.
Okay.
Nigeria is the first country in the world to have introduced a special court for redress or conflict management in the capital market. And so far, since its establishment over 10 years ago now, none of its judgments had been appealed and torn down. Because the people who are there on the council are people of one, integrity, people of knowledge, deep capital market knowledge, and also people of experience who ensure that rulings are given or judgments are given strictly according to the law. So there's no way you may take it to, it will still come back to the same thing. So to answer your question, I'll still give us 1,000 over 100.
How can only happen in Nigeria? 1,000 over 100.
It can only happen here.
Yeah. Okay. We can't take away SEC. Anytime we're talking about SEC, we'll be bound with the mind of thinking investments. Yes. Now, there are feelers that your commission will, by next week, be commemorating the World Investor Week for year 2024. What is the event all about?
Okay. Right. I will go a step backwards again to the International Organization of Securities Commissions. That's the standard setting organization for all securities regulators in the world, like I said. And 8 years ago, the organization felt that since the essence of regulation is investor protection, there's a need to highlight the importance of investor education, financial literacy, and investor protection, because an educated investor is a protected investor. He is his first line of defense, because he who knows never goes astray. So they felt on an annual basis we should dedicate a week across the world to celebrating our investors, and also continuing or deepening the level of education and awareness that we give them, and listening to their problems so that we can get better in our regulatory activities going forward, and they too can get better value for their investments.
Okay.
So the IOSCO, that's what we call IOSCO World Investor Week, is a week-long program that entails a different activity every day of the week to ensure that we bring forward the importance of financial literacy, investor education, and investor protection. So that basically is it. It is to celebrate investors, enlighten them the more, and listen to whatever issues they may have, so that we can solve such issues and ensure that they don't repeat going forward.
When you're talking about these investors, do you mean the investors at the urban settings, or even those at the grassroots?
Okay, when we say investors, we don't make any difference or demarcation between the local grassroots investors or the ones in the city, because every investor has the same rights, exactly the same rights. Even if my investment is just 1,000 shares, and you, for example, have 2 million shares, we have equal rights. In fact, we have equal votes. I'm an individual, you're an individual. What you have contributed might be more than mine, but we have both contributed to this company. So we both have the same right. So we do not differentiate between the local and those in the city. And what we have done is to, in this time, that all through the week, we have given numbers to call. And if you want to go social media, let's have a link to bring forth whatever issues you may have from next week, Monday, that's the 7th of October to 11th of October. And we'd also even be doing the physical. We may not be able to go to every nook and cranny, but at least, exactly, we have given the numbers to call. we're giving the links to join if you have such opportunities. But at least I'm sure a lot more people will rather use the telephone, because that's more commonplace.
Yeah, I was going to ask you if you want maybe to use the use of social media or technology. A lot of Nigerians have expressed concern about that, internet problems and how to connect with it when it comes to internet fluctuations and the rest of them. So I was coming to ask you, how do you plan to get to reach those in the rural area? Those are the grassroots, just like you said, that an investor in the city center is also the same to you as in the rural area. So how do you intend to get your enlightenment campaign to those at the grassroots?
All right, good. As we speak, we are planning to set up a capital market radio.
Capital market radio?
Yes, that will be accessible across the country.
Oh, that's great.
However, what we do now is to ensure that for every of our educational content, they are interpreted into the 3 major languages to start with, and then we use the local radio stations and the local TV stations to also pass on to the people, and that could go a lot far than the social media like you mentioned, and especially the radio. I could be in my farm and the radio is on and they're talking capital market for as long as it is in a language that I understand. I may not even be so attentive, but as human beings, when information streams into your mind, if it's something that interests you, it will strike a chord. And if it comes on a regular basis, it starts to stick to your memory. So we're using the radio stations, local radio stations, we're using TV stations, and we're working on our own radio station, which will basically be devoted to capital market and be accessible all across the country.
All right, somebody may be tempted to ask this question. Why is SEC involved in the campaign for the the 2024 World Investor Week?
Okay. To start with, it's a responsibility
of the SEC.
Of the SEC, and not just of the SEC, of all Securities and Exchange Commissions all over the world. It is an international, it's like Nigeria being a member of the United Nations, and United Nations is in World Women's Day, International Women's Day, for example. So this is more like our own International Investors Week. Because without investors, there will not be a market. Without investors, there will not be regulators. Maybe I would have been jobless. So we should say thank you to them and also listen to them and take whatever issues they may have with the market that concerns them or troubles them or challenges them, so that the future between us will be a better future, and they would also be happy coming back to the market and even act as our ambassadors, because they will tell their friends, my brother, this, I just got my dividend, this, you get what I'm trying to say. So we feel they are the most important part of the market, and they should be celebrated, and they should be catered for, and also educated and enlightened.
All right.
Yes.
I heard you talk about investors' confidence and the investors' clinic.
Yes.
What is it all about?
Okay, good. I love stepping back a bit all the time.
Do.
Yes.
So it will make for more understanding.
Yes,
better understanding.
Exactly. I just talked about listening to them. You know, when you go to the hospital to see a doctor, the doctor must listen to you.
Definitely.
Because at that point, you are the client, and him is the service provider. Now, the investor clinic is a program set up to listen to the investors. Do you have a problem? Even if it's a suggestion that you have you been receiving your dividends? Has your stockbroker done something wrong, or your fund manager done something wrong? Have you been receiving invitations to annual general meetings, or whatever kind of problem that they may have? That is the week when they are free to bring it on, and then we prefer solution to as much as we can. So that is the essence of the investor clinic. It also would happen every day of the World Investor Week. Because without that, then something will be missing. You cannot celebrate me, you cannot enlighten me without asking for what is aching me. what are the problems I have with either you as a regulator or somebody as a market operator or some other persons even in the market. So they are free to come, lay their problems, and we find a solution to it. So that is the essence of the investor clinic. It's like being a doctor for investors for that period.
Okay, so those
Yes.
are the gains. Any other gain for the week?
Okay, the
Apart
other
from listening to us as investors.
Okay, good.
This is my problem.
Okay.
How can I solve it?
Yeah.
What do I do?
Okay.
And the other things.
Okay, this is the other game. Today, whether we like it or not, cryptocurrencies have come to stay.
Almighty crypto.
Yes. And technologies has also stemmed into the market, whether we like it or not. And there's what we also call now, which is a buzzword, sustainable financing today. And what Arisco have done is to ensure that these issues are the theme, they form the theme of this year's World Investor Week. The theme is actually technology and digital finance, crypto assets, and sustainable finance. So we aim to also educate our investors on digital finance, crypto assets, and sustainable finance. Crypto assets and digital finance for what? So that they don't fall into the wrong hands.
That's the one I'm going to take you on.
Yes, so they don't fall into the wrong hands. Anybody could come and say, crypto is this, crypto is that, lie to them, and we need to tell them what they need to do, what steps they need to take, and what are even cryptos. They may not have very deep ideas, they may not have technical ideas, but have an understanding. And if anybody should come to you, this and this and this and these are the questions you would ask, or the steps you will take before you make a decision. Now talk about sustainable finance. That's a different ballgame entirely. What sustainable finance focuses on is how to ensure that this world that has served us for so long and it started to now go down, so to say, is not destroyed, but rather re-engineered, okay? And if I may use the word, fertilized in everything we may do, such that we're able to keep it going on, and we're also able to keep living ourselves. That is ensuring that you don't put your investments into, for example, harmful products that could destroy the world, but into products or companies that produce products that embellishes our long livelihood. So we feel it has come now. There's a need to also let our investors know, and even the general public, this is where the market is today, and you need to know so that you're not left behind. So that's a major benefit of this campaign.
No, that's a very good one, especially when it has to do with almighty cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
A lot of questions around it, a lot of feedbacks from some of our clients on what is crypto, what do we look at, and maybe for the benefits of this audience, can just talk a little about it. What do we look at when we talk about what is cryptocurrency? Investment in crypto, maybe just a little.
Okay, I would explain in a manner that will not confuse anybody.
Yeah.
Crypto is like money. It's like a security.
But not fiat.
Yes, not fiat. Definitely not fiat. Not fiat. But you know, when the world moves, you may not be able to stop the world.
Yeah.
The best you can try to do is to stem the speed and also ensure that there's fairness around. So it's more like digital currency, but like you said, not fiat currency. That as I am, I can mine using digital equipment or digital means. You can also do the same, and we can buy and sell, but it's not physical. It's not physical, and as it is in some climes, they've started to even accept it for payments.
Of crypto?
Yes. Okay. Cryptos, bitcoins, but we are not there yet. And the advice that we give is whatever you do not understand, don't put your money in it. Because if you lose your money, it will be your business.
A lot of people have been defrauded.
Yes. Again, I would also like to put this forward. Our people too are moved by, in some cases, ignorance, in some cases, aspiration, in some cases, greed.
profits.
And I will tell you, yes, when they invest in such things, they don't tell nobody. They just want their money to come, and like we say in Nigeria, they have arrived. But instead of arriving, they find themselves still at the point of exactly. And that's when they now come out to say it. But you're advised to investigate, ask questions. The SEC, you can call us anytime. We have numbers that are commonplace everywhere. If I can, I will give it even at this event now. But let us be careful.
All right.
Yes.
All right. For you to go into any investment in Nigeria, my guest from the SEC is saying you must investigate and, if possible, get across to the SEC to confirm the kind of investment that you will not be defrauded. We'll take a quick break now and we'll be right back. Stay with us.
We are a nation blessed with people of diverse cultures, religions, languages, and opinions. It is ironic that we are now being ripped apart by our greatest strength, our diversity. We have allowed intolerance, insensitivity, bigotry, and nepotism to blind our vision of the greatness we can achieve working together as one. We may not have the same culture, nor religion, nor language, but we all belong to the same nation by the divine will of God. We did not choose to be Nigerians. Nigeria chose us. This nation is our divine heritage, and if we open our eyes, we would realize that what divides us pales in comparison to what unites us. And by the comparison and conciliation of our differences, we will grow until our differences disappear. Our unity cannot be willed by mere declarations, nor do we get unity by ignoring the questions that beg for answers. We must celebrate our diversity and debate our differences without fracturing our unity. Our strength is not in our numbers, but in our unity, because even the weak become strong when united. Nigeria unite.
This message is brought to you by Abuja Broadcasting Corporation, owners and operators of ASO Radio 93.5 FM Abuja, ASO Television DSTV Channel 392, Star Times Terrestrial Channel 127, Free TV Channel 507, People's TV Channel 285, and UHF Channel 38.
You are welcome back. And the Director, Office of the Director General, Securities and Exchange Commission, the SEC, Mr. Tunde Kamali, is still here with us. Our focus on this enlightenment program by the SEC is on the upcoming World Investor Day, as well as how we can take advantage of this opportunity. Before we went on the break, Mr. Kamali, we were talking about some responsibilities of the SEC and other partners, and you were reiterating on how to the financing of assets as one of your responsibility. A lot of people have asked us this question, and I'm going to throw it at you, that what is the Securities and Exchange Commission doing in terms of maybe advancing credit facilities to investors, especially those of them that we call them penny stocks investors?
Okay, thank you very much. I will break it down.
Okay.
Yes. If you talk about asset financing, strictly, it is not part of the Commission's mandates.
Wow.
The Commission does not finance nobody.
Okay.
Yes, either assets or otherwise. What the Commission does is just to provide the medium for companies to come to the market, either for business expansion or for diversification, and also for government to come to the market to raise funds for infrastructure development, basically. And if you talk about asset financing, that will fall within the purview or within the perimeters of short-term financing, which is strictly a business for the banks.
Okay.
Not for the capital market at all. So we would not think about it, will not talk about it, will not act about it, because it is outside of the mandates of the SEC as provided by the ISA, and I mean by the law.
Okay.
Yes.
You have emphasized on the gains of the World Investor Week that is coming up beginning from next week.
Monday, yes.
For those that are unemployed or looking for a job to do, also persons that are looking for businesses to do they have a place in this week, this program?
Okay, well, because this program is targeted at investors,
Okay.
we have other programs that are targeted at SMEs. And when I say SMEs, any level of SME. It could be a one-man business, it could be a partnership, and it could be a small business put together by a few people. We have a different sets of programs for them. But this particular campaign is targeted at those who are investors
Already.
in the capital market, and especially the retail investors. Because we have two kinds of investors in the market. We have institutional. As a company, I can buy shares myself, as a company. Then I become an institutional investor. But I'm protected because I have the wherewithal to do my research, to do my findings, to do my analysis. But the man on the streets who has bought shares, he may not even know anything about the company. Maybe somebody encouraged him. Maybe he saw his brother do the same, or his friend, or his family member, and he did it. So he doesn't know jack, he doesn't know what is happening, so he's there unprotected. But the day he gained a little knowledge about what he himself is doing, he becomes a better investor. And what we want to ensure is that we have very educated investors in Nigeria who will be formidable in their investments and be able to make the right investment decisions at any point in time. So our focus is the investors and majorly the retail investors.
And for those that are yet to be fully educated about investment,
But the general public, everybody is invited.
okay,
Because you never can tell. What we do, like we tell people, is like evangelism. We may talk to you today, you may take action today, you may tomorrow, you may 10 years, you may never take action. Just like you are preached to and you are liberty to decide. But that information, the moment it comes to you, that knowledge, the moment you gain it, you obtain it, it will never leave you. So you are now left to decide how and when to deploy the new knowledge you have gained.
and some persons, especially in this climb, they care less about obtaining necessary information, so they go for secondary information where they are always misled. What would be your advice to such people?
Okay, to such people, what I would advise is, yes, you may ask questions from people, but instead of asking them the definite questions, ask them where you can get authoritative response.
Okay.
Who or which organization is the government organization responsible for this activity? Every government organization is a public service provider.
Yeah.
And whether they like it or not, they serve the public. That's why they are called public service.
Yeah.
So instead of coming to me as an individual to say, oh, do you think this thing is Ponzi? Ask him, please, who are the people in charge of, the government people in charge of this Ponzi thing? So I can approach them. And for now, we have three zonal offices in Nigeria, which we are planning to even expand, because we need to be closer to the people. And when we do that, it will be easier for anybody across the country to reach any of our offices or even call us. But for now, we can be called.
When we talk about getting the real information from the necessary people,
Yes.
I recall some time ago when, I don't know, it was alleged that stockbrokers misinform
Their clients.
to defraud them. I don't know if you've heard it before, or if there's anything the Securities and Exchange Commission has done, especially in terms of creating more awareness for investors in the capital market.
Okay. Yes. It used to happen in those days.
In those days.
Yes. But what the SEC had done is what we call direct, straight process.
Meaning?
I will explain. What it means is, if you sell shares for me, what will come to me, or what will come to you, is your commission. My money will come directly to me.
All things being equal.
No, that's a system.
Okay.
With respect to that, all things are equal. Because it's a regulation, yes. It's a regulation that cannot be changed. So if you're my stockbroker, and I say, please, I want to sell 20,000 units of my shares. When you sell, let's assume that the profit is 10,000 naira, and your fees is 50 naira or 500 naira. Your fees will come to you, and my profits, the balance, will come to me. So the issue of somebody defrauding the other does not happen again, not in the Nigerian capital market.
All right.
Yes.
And in case someone is following us on this program and would want to invest in one form of stocks or shares, as the case may be, what is the process? What is the due process to follow in order not to be defrauded or to make a mistake of any sort?
Okay. The first step to take is to either come to the commission, call the commission, or go on to our website. We have a list of approved operators.
Oh, that's great.
For whatever you may want to do, we have a long list of approved operators, and you're liberty to pick any.
Okay.
We are not at liberty to tell you ABC stockbrokers are the best, because we treat everybody equally. But you have the opportunity of having the whole list at your fingertips.
Okay.
And their contact numbers are also there. Their emails are there. Their physical addresses are also there. So you are at liberty to decide who you want to choose. You could pick 3, talk to them, whichever meets your desires, you stick with him. Because all of them on that list are regulated. Anyone that comes to you and you check the list and his name is not there, please do not do any business with such a person.
All right.
Yes, don't.
And back to our World Investor Week. What will be your advice to both the investors, those you are expecting to be at the week, the government, and the general public, maybe to us as a media?
Okay, let me start from the rear to the media now. Yes, I guess the media needs to do a little bit more. By that I mean do more research on the market, so that when the media talks to the public, it comes with a higher level of authority. And like you had stated at the beginning too, that your organization would like to partner with the SEC, we welcome more of such partnerships, because it helps us to evangelize the capital market and to enlighten the people. So we would seek or pray for more of that. It helps everybody. Nobody loses. Now, to the government, what I would suggest the government to do, which part of which we are doing, is to also ensure that we have capital market studies in school curriculums. And by that I mean, in English, you could have a passage on the capital market.
Okay.
And whether you like it or not, the child that is reading the passage or writing the comprehension is learning. You could put it in social studies, you could put it in economics, you could put it in commerce, you could put it in business studies, you could put it in the 3 major languages of this country.
To help a great deal.
And that process has started. We have started the process, and we hope to get to a reasonable conclusion soon. So we need support of not just the government, of everybody. And I can say that the agency that is responsible for curriculum development has been of great support in this area. They're also government. That's part of what I mean. Now, we're moving up to also ensure that capital market is being taught in universities.
Oh, that's good.
And we also need support from everybody, including the government. So for government, I guess, basically, we will need their moral support, and if financial too comes along, we wouldn't say no to financial support. Now, to the general public, the best place to invest today, even though most of us do not know, is still the capital market, because it is highly regulated, and it's not just limited to Nigeria, it's across the world. And it is something that 3, 4, 5, 6 generations can continue to live on. You can use your stock account to take a loan. Most people don't know that. If you have a stock of social value, I'm sure a lot of people are not aware. Your value is a particular amount, and if you want to take a particular amount, they will discount them to each other. And then they tell you, okay, this is how much loan your stock holding can afford. And if you're happy with it, you take your loan, you go use it for whatever you may want to use it for.
Okay.
So we would advise everybody to get more involved in the capital market. There are investments you can buy for as low as 1,000 naira.
I was going to take you up because when you talk about stocks, what comes to the minds of many Nigerians is you must have 100,000, a lot of huge amount of money to get stocks.
Good. Part of what we'll be saying at the campaign this week is to also let the general public know that is what we call collective investment schemes. Okay. It's like what they call Adashe in Hausa, Isusu in Igbo, and Ajo in Yoruba.
We call it Oja.
Okay, you see,
Oja in Yagala.
Okay, in Yagala, Oja, where somebody will pull together money from everybody. But this is more sophisticated. Okay. In the sense that if 5 of us pull 10,000 naira together and it becomes 50,000, the manager, there's a professional who stands in the middle of everybody and invests this money. You could take 15,000 naira and invest it in Transcorp. Right. Could take another 15, invest it in Total. Could take the rest, invest it in another industry, such that at no point in time would my investment, my 10,000 naira, lose. At no time would I lose it. Right. Yes. If hotel is not working, agriculture will work, and you can start with as small as 1,000 naira. Yes.
Wow. You can start with as low as 1,000 naira investment in the stocks market and the capital market. According to my guest, start small to grow big. And with these messages, we have come to the end of the Enlightenment program today, packaged by the Securities and Exchange Commission, the SEC. The guest we have been speaking with is the Director, Office of the Director General, Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, Mr. Tunde Kamali. Mr. Kamali, we want to thank you for honoring our invitation to come and enlighten us on the 1-week-long Investor Week beginning from next week.
Thank you very much. Thank you. It's a great pleasure to be here.
And to you out there, our esteemed audience, we want to thank you so much for spending part of your time with us on this program. I believe that we have learned something and we are going to take advantage of this long week Investor Week so that we can begin to make more streams of income. I am Ile Emeje saying, enjoy the rest of our programming.